We're about to start. Good morning, everyone. May we request everyone to pause for a while for our short prayer, which will be followed by the singing of the Pambansang Awit.
Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to meet together. Please help us to come together to make this institution reflect your kingdom. Breathe life into our ideas and decisions. Help us build a team that has love and respect at its heart. Give us the strength to continue working for your kingdom in this time of pandemic. Lord, come give us the inspiration to be the best we can be. May we be a shining example of your goodness and truth within, wherever we are. Inspire our thoughts, discussions, and ideas, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth for the greater glory of you. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Magandang araw sa ating lahat. Good morning, Eastern Visayas. Ito po ang iyong lingkod at kaibigan na si Gemma Tabaw ng Philippine Information Agency. Nandito po tayo ngayon sa ating Philippine Statistics Authority Regional News Conference on the results of the 2020 Census on Population and Housing. And to start with, with us this morning are our partners from the Philippine Statistics Authority, headed by no less than the Regional Director, Ma'am Wilma Perante. We also have with us our partners from other line agencies. We have with us our Regional Director from the Department of Budget and Management, Ma'am Imelda Laceras. Good morning, Ma'am. Good morning, Ma'am Wilma. We also have our friends from the local media and our Provincial Information Center managers of the Philippine Information Agency Region 8. To start with, pakinggan po natin ang pangunahing mensahe ng ating Regional Director ng National Economic and Development Authority, no less than Director Reynaldo Bonifacio, Pasok po, Director Uy. Hello, sir. Good morning po.
Yeah, good morning, Miss Gemma Tabaw. I hope
sir,
I can
nakamute po kayo.
We can hear you, RD.
Okay, so
good
I
morning,
can now be
Sir Uy, for your opening message po.
Yeah, can I now be heard?
Sir, naka-mute po kayo.
We can hear RD from our end.
Okay, sir, go ahead.
I can hear.
I can hear you, sir.
Miss Gemma,
Sir, we are ready na po.
Sir, okay na.
So I can now be heard from your end. Miss
Loud and
Gemma.
clear.
Okay, thank you very much. So to our distinguished guests, my colleagues in government service, especially to RD Welma Perante of the Philippine Statistics Authority Region 8, RD Imelda Raceras of DBM Region 8, Mr. Joseph Cajeta, Chief Statistical Specialist of PSA Central Office,
Loud and clear.
and of course, the most important participants in this venue, our friends in the media. Ladies and gentlemen, maupay nga aga, maayong buntag kanatong tanan. On behalf of the Eastern Visayas Regional Census Coordinating Board and Regional Statistics Committee, I warmly welcome you all to our regional news conference on the results of the 2020 Census of Population and Housing. Madamo nga salamat for participating and later on helping us disseminate the important results of the latest population and housing census in our country. I think every one of us here would agree with me that the population census, which is the official, actual, and comprehensive count of the population, has always been a vital information to any country since written history has been made. In fact, for the Christians, Muslims, and Jewish people who may be familiar with the Old Testament, the book of Numbers cite a census conducted by the Jewish people after their escape or exodus from the slavery of Egypt led by Moses. It is through the information gained from the said census that they were able to organize their nation and survive the 40 long years of roaming in the desert. It is also through a census conducted over 1,400 years after the Exodus led by Moses that the prophecy that the Savior will be born in Bethlehem was fulfilled. For our country, especially for the national government, the results of the population and housing census are always awaited with excitement and sometimes with some anxiety. These mixed reactions are understandable, considering that many of our development goals and adequate provisions by the government of public goods and services are denominated in terms of the number of people in a given area. For instance, there is a standard ratio of the number of hospital beds per number of population that our government health institutions are working to achieve. That is also the case in the public education services. The government needs to establish school buildings to achieve the standard number of classrooms and teachers per student population. Otherwise, the quality of education would suffer as a consequence. The same case also prevails in the security sector, where there is an ideal or standard number of policemen for a given number of population. For our local governance, the population census results are equally, if not even more important. Under the Local Government Code, specifically Section 285 of the Code, population is the largest single criterion of determining the LGU's share to the taxes collected by the national government. Population constitute 50%, while land area and equity share constitute 25% each. Population as a factor in determining the fiscal resources available to any LGUs is even more significant, given the Mandanas-Garcia ruling that the 40% share of the LGUs to the taxes collected by the national government should not only be based on the income taxes or internal revenue collected by the BIR, but also by those collected by other key tax collecting agencies of the national government, such as the Bureau of Customs and other agencies of the government. And the Supreme Court decides that this should be effected starting next year. The results of the 2020 census will enable us in the national as well as local governments to conduct a more objective and accurate evaluation of our performance in achieving our development targets set out in our duly approved development plans. This will be an occasion to revisit what would be our future development challenges, and on that basis, what would be the more appropriate and effective development challenges. For our region, the current Regional Development Plan for 2017 to 2022 midterm updates target the average annual population growth at 1.2% from a baseline of 1.52 average annual population growth rate based on the results of the 2015 mid-decade census of population in housing. So by 2022, which is the end of plan target, we hope to achieve a population growth rate that is 1.08%. Now, based on the 2020 census of population and housing results, the annual average population growth rate of our region from May 2015 to August 2020 is at 0.5%. So it looks like we have significantly achieved our regional plan targets of reducing the population growth 2 years ahead. The lower population growth rate of the region would indicate that we will be able to achieve demographic dividends in terms of relatively reduced need to allocate limited government resources to social goods and services and allocate more government investments that can be devoted to economic and infrastructure programs and projects, so that this will usher in a higher economic growth, promote private investments, and generate more gainful employment opportunities. If we can sustain the low population growth in the future, our region is in a better position to achieve not only our medium-term development goals, but also enable us to attain our long-term vision, the Ambition Natin 2040, and successfully fulfill our country's commitment to the United Nations to attain the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. We sincerely thank and congratulate the Philippine Statistics Authority for the completion and timely release of the results of the 2020 Census of Population and Housing, just over a year after it conducted the census. Despite all the risks and difficulties they have encountered during this pandemic time, the thousands of census enumerators that the PSA has fielded are our silent heroes, nameless for now. For them, our heartfelt madamo nga salamat for responding to the call of duty even in this difficult time. Of course, we all would like to take this opportunity to also thank our local government executives and officers, our frontline workers, and all the families in our region for your cooperation and assistance in making the 2020 Census of Population and Housing successful. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you po, Director Bonnie. At this point in time, let us listen to the presentation of the results of the 2020 Census on Population and Housing, which will be shared to us by the Regional Director of the Philippine Statistics Authority, Ma'am Wilma Perante. Take it away, Ma'am Wilma.
Thank you, Ma'am Gemma. Attorney Bonifacio G. Uy, Regional Director of NEDA and RSC Region 8 Chairperson. Regional Director Imelda Laceres of the Department of Budget and Management. Information Center Manager of Leyte, Gemma Tabao. Regional Directors and representatives of our regional line agencies, our partners from the academe and the private sector, our friends from the local and national media, representative from PSA Central Office, Chief Statistical Specialist Joseph Kahita, PSA officials and staff of the region and provinces. Ladies and gentlemen, maupay nga aga ha aton nga tanan, maayong buntag sa atong tanan. The Philippine Statistics Authority is pleased to present the highlights of the 2020 Census of Population and Housing official counts in Eastern Visayas. The 2020 Census of Population and Housing, or CPH, was undertaken by the Philippine Statistics Authority pursuant to Republic Act 10625, also known as the Philippine Statistical Act of 2013. Executive Order Number 352, or designation of statistical activities that will generate critical data for decision-making of the government and the private sector, and Batas Pambansa Bilang 72, which provides the basis for the decennial conduct of the integrated Census of Population and Housing. May 2020 was declared as the National Census Month pursuant to Proclamation Number 928, Series of 2020, which provided that the 2020 CPH be conducted in May 2020, with May 1 as the census reference date. However, in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, the census enumeration was moved to September 2020. Information on the count of the population was collected with 12:01 a.m. of May 1, 2020 as reference time and date, in accordance with the provisions indicated under BP 72. The population of Region 8 or Eastern Visayas as of May 1, 2020 is 4,547,150 based on the 2020 Census of Population and Housing or 2020 Census CPH. These accounts for about 4.17% of the Philippine population in 2020. President Rodrigo Roa Duterte has declared official for all purposes the population counts by province, city, municipality, and barangay pursuant to Proclamation Number 1179, Series of 2021, signed on July 6, 2021. The 2020 population of the region is higher by 107,000 from the population of 4.44 million in 2015 and 445,828 more than the population of 4.10 million in 2010. Moreover, it is higher by 936,795 compared with the population of 3.61 million in 2000. The population of Eastern Visayas increased by 0.50% annually on average during the period of 2015 to 2020. This population growth rate, or PGR, is relatively slower compared with the 1.52% in 2010 to 2015. The PGR of 0.5% is the lowest PGR recorded since 1980. With the total land area of approximately 23,000 square kilometers, the population density of Eastern Visayas in 2020 was posted at 196 persons per square kilometer. This represents an increase of 5 persons per square kilometer, or 2.4% from the population density of 191 persons per square kilometer in 2015. Among the 6 provinces comprising Region 8, Leyte had the biggest population in 2020 with 1,776,847 persons, followed by Samar with 793,183 persons, Northern Samar with 639,186 persons, Eastern Samar with 477,168 persons, and Southern Leyte with 429,573 persons. Biliran had the smallest population with 179,312 persons. The city of Tacloban, the only highly urbanized city in the region, posted a population of 251,881 persons. Biliran was the fastest growing province in the region with an annual population growth rate of 0.93% from 2015 to 2020. It was followed by Leyte with 6.63%, Eastern Samar 0.45%, Southern Leyte 0.39%, and Samar with 0.34%. Northern Samar posted the lowest provincial PGR of 0.23%. The city of Tacloban posted a PGR of 0.84%. Among the region's 6 provinces, the most densely populated was Biliran, with a population density of 335 persons per square kilometer. This figure is almost 2 times higher than the population density of 196 persons per square kilometer at the regional level. This translates to an additional 15 persons per square kilometer or 4.5% from the 320 persons per square kilometer in 2015. The most sparsely populated province in 2020 was Eastern Samar, with 103 persons per square kilometer. This figure is slightly higher than the 101 persons per square kilometer in 2015. The city of Tacloban posted a population density of 1,249 persons per square kilometer in 2020. This figure is more than 6 times higher than the population density at the regional level. This translates to an additional 49 persons per square kilometer, or 4.0% from the 1,200 persons per square kilometer in 2015. Region 8 is composed of 1 highly urbanized city, 1 independent component city, 5 component cities, 136 municipalities, and 4,390 barangays. Among the cities, excluding the city of Tacloban and municipalities in the region, the largest in terms of population size is Ormoc City, an independent component city in the province of Leyte with 230,998 persons. It was followed by the city of Calbayog, Samar, with 186,960 persons, and city of Baybay, Leyte, with 111,848 persons. Maslug in Eastern Samar is the least populous city municipality in Region 8 with 5,463 persons. It was followed by Mercedes in Eastern Samar with 6,112 persons, and Limasawa in Southern Leyte with 6,191 persons. One of the 4,390 barangays in Region 8, the largest in terms of population size, is Barangay 105 or Suhi in the city of Tacloban with 12,296 persons. It was followed by Mercedes in the city of Catbalogan, Samar with 12,281 persons, and Dalakit or Poblacion in Catarman, Northern Samar with 12,075 persons. Among the cities, excluding city of Tacloban and municipalities in the region, Tunga in the province of Leyte was the most densely populated with 994 residents per square kilometer of land. It was followed by Tolosa, Leyte with 919 persons per square kilometer. Limasawa, Southern Leyte with 887 persons per square kilometer, Tanawan, Leyte with 733 persons per square kilometer, and Isabel, Leyte with 731 persons per square kilometer. In contrast, the municipality of San Jose de Buwan in Samar was the most sparsely populated city municipality with a population density of 21 persons per square kilometer. Maslog in Eastern Samar closely followed with 22 residents per square kilometer of land. Next was Hinabangan, Samar with 30 persons per square kilometer. Hipapad, Eastern Samar with 36 persons per square kilometer, and Maydulong, Eastern Samar with 38 persons per square kilometer. In light of the coronavirus disease or COVID-19 pandemic, the Philippine Statistics Authority has proudly overcome the unprecedented challenges to collect and produce high-quality data that are critical in decision-making for good governance, development planning, risk reduction and crisis response, social welfare programs, and business market analysis, among others. The PSA would like to extend its utmost appreciation to the public for their support and response to the 2020 CPH despite the COVID-19 pandemic. The 2020 CPH is the country's 15th census of population and 7th census of housing since 1903. The latest population data for the Philippines, its regions, provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays can be downloaded at PSA website psa.gov.ph/population-and-housing. Thank you very much and good day.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Wilma, for that very relevant and accurate information. Moving on, may we call in the Regional Director of the Department of Budget and Management to explain to us the usage of population counts. Pasok po, Director Laceras.
Okay, good morning everyone.
Morning.
Maopay nga aga aton nga tanan. Thank you for this invitation, PSA. The Department of Budget and Management, Regional Office 8, is grateful for this opportunity for our office to share how important is this recent data that was produced by the PSA as we continue to serve our clients in the entire Eastern Visayas. The usage of population count cannot really be underscored or can never be underestimated, particularly at this time where we faced a lot of challenges brought about by this unprecedented and much awaited Mandanas ruling on the Mandanas and Garcia ruling by the Supreme Court, which highly impacts on how national government agencies and local government units particularly will refocus their collective planning, programming, budgeting, and expenditure management in the next, at least in the next 3 years, considering that the transition period for the implementation of the full devolution as contained in EO 138, Executive Order 138, is mandated to be done within the 3-year period starting 2022, 2023, and 2024. And of course, the preparations, particularly in the planning, programming, and budgeting side, has to start early on, no? In fact, for 2022, we are already in the process of helping our local government units prepare their annual investment programs as well as their executive budgets for 2022. So in June 14 of this year, the DBM, through Secretary Wendell Avisado, issued Local Budget Memorandum number 82, which provided for the indicative 2022 national tax allotment, shares of LGUs, and the guidelines on the preparation of the fiscal year 2022 annual budget of LGUs. And at that time, the DBM used the 2016 population count because that was the official data produced by the PSA at the time of the issuance of the Local Budget Memorandum number 82. So it was Proclamation number 1269 dated May 19, 2016. That was the basis for the computation of the individual share of the national tax allotment for each LGU in Eastern Visayas and in the entire country as well. However, brought about by this recent proclamation by the Office of the President, now we are mandated to use officially the 2020 population count. The DBM will accordingly issue an amendment to Local Budget Memorandum number 82, and we will again be sending letters to all our governors, mayors, and barangay captains, informing them of their more or less, unless magkaroon pa ng mga additional changes in the factors that we are mandated to use in computing the national tax allotment as provided in the Local Government Code of 1991 or Republic Act 7160. Pag wala ng mga other changes in the factors, kung ito lang ang nabago, population count lang, after the issuance of the Local Budget Memorandum number 82, then we can say that the new level of the national tax allotment that DBM will be sending to our LGUs will already be considered a final level, which will be the basis for a more predictable determination of how much will be received by each LGU, and so that they can also predict how much level of expenditures they can program for the entire 12 months of 2022. So the other day, activity done by the DBM in coordination with the Regional Development Council, where we conducted a coaching and mentoring session for our DC members, I also emphasized this. And there was a question, what will happen to their individual share that we already issued to the LGUs? And so, is there a possibility daw, kasi tumaas yung population count ng isang LGU, I think it was Tolosa who asked, Mayor Ophel, kung tumaas yung population count nila from 2016 to 2020, may chance ba na tataas yung national tax allotment share nila? So my answer was, of course, it follows na pag may tumaas yung share ng population, yung population count ng isang LGU, kasi as we all know in the local government code, the share of all the provinces, which is at 220 million, all cities, 220 million, the same kasi parehas sila 23% from the total 929 billion in TA that was shared among LGUs. For municipalities, yung share nila is 326 million, and the barangays 191.8 million. Kung itong share by each of the category of the LGUs will be accordingly computed or shared using the population count as basis and the land area as well. As for the land area, hindi pa naman po nabago. We are still using the 2001 master list produced by the Bureau of Land Management sector of the DENR. So the entire share of the say municipalities will still be at 326 million. So ang magbabago lang dito will be the individual share of the LGUs corresponding share. Kasi there was a question, Ma'am, madadagdagan ba yung 959.041 billion na NTA dahil tataas yung population na? Hindi na, kasi yung 959 billion na pag hahati-hatiin among LGUs in the entire country for 2022 is the level certified by the Department of Finance as the actual collection from all taxes na walang mga specific purpose. Kasi may mga collections din ang national government that are intended for a specific purpose. So hindi po kasama yon sa pag-share doon sa national tax allotment for LGUs. So I hope that as I've said, very timely itong data na produce ng ating PSA, even with all the challenges faced with this pandemic, kasi May last year, pandemic na talaga tayo. I remember I was still in Cebu that time, and there were trainings conducted right there where I was staying at the Ecotech for the enumerators that will be sent to the field to conduct the census. So I was telling myself, wow, even with this pandemic, really, government has to continue to operate. We can never close shop. even with whatever challenges we face, we have to proceed because again, as I've said, a whole of nation approach or whole of LGU approach at the LGU level. So magkakaroon sila ng refocusing, revisiting their functions, mandates, deliverables nila vis-a-vis their capacities along, when we say capacities, yung tao nila, yung resources nila, talaga naman nadagdagan na, training. So very timely that this data will now be their basis. No, instead of the 2016 data as basis for planning, programming, and budgeting, this will now be their very realistic. In other words, the more relevant data that is available for everyone, not just in fact in government, but including private sector organizations can really maximize the use of this available data right now. So again, in behalf of the Department of Budget and Management, to all our local government units, particularly expect another amendment to the local budget memorandum to effect the impact of this 2020 census to your indicative share of the national tax allotment. And we will continue to provide technical assistance and guidance, particularly in the crafting of the AIP and the required attachment as a requirement under EO 138, the devolution transition plan, as well as the executive budget. Thank you very much and pleasant morning to one and all.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Aimee. This time, pakinggan po natin ang mga katanungan ng ating partners from the local media at ng ating Provincial Information Center managers ng PIA Region 8. May we request our media friends to identify yourself before asking your question. At reminder lang po, one main question and one follow-up question para sa isang media partner to give chance to others to air also their questions. So, sino po yung mag-start ng ating ball rolling? Parang walang nagtatanong. Since wala pa pong nagtatanong, basahin po natin yung question galing from Goldamir Tabao, ang Provincial Manager ng PIA Samar. Ito po yung katanungan niya. How did the pandemic and the displacement of people due to job losses, return of locally stranded individuals and overseas Filipino workers affect the results of the 2020 census on population and housing? And with all these changes, can we still say that the census result is an accurate data for policy-making decisions, especially those that will benefit the poor? Ma'am Wilma?
Thank you for that question. No, mayroon tayong sinusunod na international standard definition when we talk of the household membership. No, so bali yung ating mga overseas Filipino workers who are working abroad and expected to return within 5 years in the Philippines are actually included in the census count. No. Tapos yung ating mga seafarers na 'di ba away from home, kasama doon sila kasi usually ang kontrata naman nila ay mga within 1 year lang naman. So kasama talaga sila. Actually in principle, yung ating overseas Filipino workers na expected to be back. They've been away but expected to be back within 5 years. Kasama talaga yan. And yan yung kasama natin pagdating sa mga even if there was pandemic, no? So yung ating mayroon tayong another rule na within the Philippines, yung ating naman principle na ginagamit ay yung away from home, na they are away from home because of their studying or yung studying natin within the Philippines and they expected to be back in the household where they are usually resides ay kasama sila pag within 6 months, no? Pero yung abroad naman na studying, kasi kanina working so yung mga studying kasama din sila pag abroad, lumabas sila within 1 year. So yun yung ating principle na ginagamit. So it's a standard definition na ginagamit dito sa Census of Population. And yung mga during the pandemic, sabi natin, ay yung mga students, no? Ang students and working household members, kasama din sila. Actually, mas ano nga sila counted nga during the Census of Population and Housing noong 2020 where they usually resides. Kasi ang ating studying and working na sumasama at umuwi doon sa where they usually resides ay kasama natin if they are working, they usually go home to their households within every once a week, no, once a week yung ating reference. So actually yun yung ating 3 major principles of this inclusion pagdating sa count ng Census of Population. Yung within 1 year from the date of departure, so that means date of departure, no? So 1 year yon pag outside the Philippines naman. So within a year, at least once a week kung working or studying in the Philippines, and then yung 6 months or more at the time of enumeration if they are in the institution like na-confined or nakulong, so kasama sila doon, provided they will be coming back to their usual place of residence within 6 months. And then yung sinabi ko kanina yung abroad na 5 years. So yan po.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Wilma. Any follow-up question? Wala na po kasi ito po yung pinadala po ni Goldemir Tabao ng PIA8 Samar. So for our next question, do we have our next question? Jimmy Angay-Angay of DYVL. Jimmy?
Yes, good morning, Ma'am Jima, and to all the
Good morning.
guests, especially to the Regional Director of Philippine Statistics Authority kasi yung question ko ay para sa kanya, kay Director Perante. At good morning din kay Director Bonifacio Oy, kay Director Imelda Laceras. Pero ang question ko para sa PSA, what are the main factors po, Director, for the slow population growth rate dito sa Eastern Visayas? Ano pong mga factors?
Okay. So actually ang major factor na nag-slow down, nag-increase naman yung population natin, no, if you look at, but medyo nag-slow down lang, no. So mayroon kasi tayong information at saka data, no, hard data na in 2018 mayroon tayong lumabas dito sa ating National Migration Survey na mayroon tayong net inter-regional lifetime migrants na ibig sabihin nun, mas maraming lumabas from the usual place of birth, from the place of birth na ang proxy natin ay usual residence of the mother at the time of birth when the person was born, tapos lumabas sila outside the region, lumalabas na we have in 2018 na lifetime migrants ng net migrants ito, ibig sabihin mas marami yung lumabas. Actually yung lumabas no na ng inter-regional lifetime migrants ay 1,395,000 in 2018. So nakita pa lang yan in 2018 talaga marami nang lumabas na mga tao from Region 8. So in the net of 1,072,000 actually. So yun yung nakita namin why we had a slowed growth of population in the region. Nakita natin yan sa 2018 National Migration Survey po. Sir Jimmy.
Thank you po, Ma'am Wilma. Thank you, Sir Jimmy. May follow-up question ka po.
Okay, Director Imelda Laceras po. Good morning, Director. Ano po yung preparation ngayon ng DBM kasi ipapatupad na next year siguro yung Mandanas ruling na mga LGUs na ang magpapatupad ng mga project. Preparation lang, Director.
Okay. Hello. Good morning, Jimmy. Yeah. Your question pertains to the implication,
Yes po.
the
At saka
preparation for
preparation
the
nyo.
implementation of the Mandanas ruling. Yeah, I emphasized earlier in my talk that this is really a timely event that we are now officially launching this 2020 census on population because LGUs are already starting. In fact, as early as June, we have already been conducting online dialogue with our local chief executives, local budget officers, for them to start preparing documents, plans that are mandated to be prepared by the Office of the President under EO 138, yung nagmamandate ng full devolution. Kasi ang ipiprepare ng mga local government units, hindi lang AIP and budget yung usual na ginagawa nila yearly, but this time, they are made to prepare their devolution transition plan so that they can already map out ano ang direction ng LGU for the next 3 years as it gradually absorb transferred functions from national government agencies. So very timely, as I've said, no, na itong data ng population will now be, at saka yung mga na-process na data which were shown earlier by Ma'am Wilma, ang ganda, no? Yung inano na natin, pre-process natin yung population count vis-a-vis the land area of the LGUs, of the, kumbaga nakuha na yung mga density ratio, which are very good byproduct or process that was na-derive coming from the recent data on population. So sana nga, no, pati yung master list na land area, kung ma-update na rin siya, magiging more realistic ang planning ng mga LGUs natin. Kasi as I've said, medyo antiquated na yung data natin sa land area. Pero at least sa population, nababalanse kasi very recent naman yung population data. So I hope, Jimmy, you were able to also tune in yesterday. Our friend, the RDC co-chair, PSR Louis Quebec, conducted an online interview with me the other day, which was aired yesterday. Sa DYBL also, I think it was aired yesterday 5 p.m. We talked about all these preparations that are being done in the region. Thank you, Jimmy. You can call me if you want to, on a later time for more detailed information regarding this. Thank you.
Yung ibang tanong ko po, Ma'am Jima, i-chat ko na lang yung iba kung wala magtanong mamaya.
Yes po. Thank you po, Sir Jimmy. Thank you, Ma'am Aimee. This time, pakinggan po natin ang katanungan galing from PIA Northern Samar from Miss Eileen Diaz. Pasok po, Miss Eileen. Miss Eileen, choppy ka po. For the meantime, pakinggan po natin ang question from PIA Biliran from Miss Lailani Tupas. Go ahead, Miss Lani.
Good morning sa lahat.
Good morning.
Dito sa yung population density ng sa regional level is 196 individuals per square kilometers. Then yung sa Biliran is 335 per square kilometer ang sa province-wide. Pero sa mga municipalities, yung sa Naval is 538. No, na may difference mas malaki, no? Mas malaki yung yung population ang population density ng Naval compared sa provincial na average niya. At doon sa mas malaki pa kaysa doon sa regional na average. Ibig bang sabihin nito, ma'am, na yung siyempre na ang Naval naman kasi ang capital municipality ng ng probinsya. Sa regional ba yung kasi based to sa per square kilometer updated ba yun din ang tinatanong ko kung updated ba ang population nito, I mean ang area sa census na to or sa survey na to, in-update din ba ang area? Kasi alam naman natin na yung matagal na itong pinag-uusapan ng mga heads ng una ng mga agencies na hindi ba lumiliit ang area ng isang lugar kasi panay yung quarrying. So ang tanong ko dyan is, updated din po ba sa survey ang area ng lugar? Ang laki ng ang laki ng population density ng Naval compared sa provincial na niya. 196 lang sa regional level, 335 sa provincial level. Sa municipal level is 538. So updated din po ba ang area? Kasi alam natin yung hindi din ba lumiliit yung area ng lugar sa tinagal-tagal ng panahon? Kasi alam natin nung una ang area ng Biliran is 555 square kilometers. Pero sa tinagal-tagal 1990s pa yon. Sa tinagal-tagal ng pagkakwari, hindi ba lumiliit din yung area ng Biliran?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ma'am Laylan, dun sa tanong, no? So, bali, actually, ang ginamit natin, we have hindi man kami nagsusurvey. So, yung official statistics pagdating sa land area, bali, galing po sa ating Land Management Bureau of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. For the population density na ginamit natin for 2020, bali yung ating base po, ibig sabihin, yung ating numerator pagdating sa computation ng population density, ang ginamit po ay 2013 master list of land areas of cities and municipalities. 2013 po, so we can refer to that. Kung talaga ba, actually this is the latest data we got from DNR po. So 2013 master list.
So ilan na kaya? Gaano na kaya kaliit or kalaki ang area ng dyan, ma'am?
Ma'am, yung land area po ng Biliran is, based on this data, is 536.01 square kilometers po. Compared with, siya naman pinakamaliit kasi siya naman pinakamaliit. 536.01 538.01 kilometers. Pero po ang population niya ay 179,312. So when we compute for the population density, that would be 179,312 divided by 536.01 square kilometers. So lumalabas po siya na 335 persons per square kilometer. That's how we computed for the population density.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Kasi nung pagpasok ko ng PIA, mga 1995, ang area ng, pagkakalam ko sa area ng Biliran is 555 square kilometers. So lumiit nga siya.
Opo, ma'am. Thank you. But I don't have right now the data for the land area of the previous years.
Thank you, Director Wilma. Thank you, Ma'am Lani.
Ako, nag-ibon gusto, no? 12 square kilometers.
Sarwell Miñano ng Philippine News Agency. Ito po yung question niya. Other than population count, what other data are expected to release by the Philippine Statistics Authority from the 2020 Census on Population and Housing? Ano po yung ibang data na pwedeng i-release ng PSA from the Census on Population and Housing?
So sa ngayon, thank you. Sa ngayon po, official population counts pa lang ang pwede namin, ang na-release officially, no? But mayroon po tayong target as to when the other data will be available. So ano po yung ibang data na pwede pong ma-release? So ngayong year na ito, officially, yung report number 3 namin, that's population, land area and density po, that will be released by our office by December 2021, so this year. And as well as also yung population count by legislative district, so December 2021. And then this will be followed yung ating total population, kasi ngayon total population lang tayo, no? So wala pa tayong household population and the number of households by province, city, municipality. So there's a difference of the total population with the household population because we have institutional population. So, but what we released today is only for the total population. So, yung ating household population and the number of households by province, city, municipality will be released by our timetable, January 2022, 6 months after the proclamation of the President. Since July 6 po na proclaim yung ating official count ng total count, total population count. So mga around January 2022, that will be next year. And then yung other data na demographic and socio-economic and housing characteristics would follow. That will be in June 2022, and then yung other demographic characteristics ng ating mga variables. Ano pa yung mga data natin na pwede natin makuha? For example, yung ating mga specific demographic and socio-economic indicators na makukuha like yung ating religious affiliations, citizenship, ethnicity, residence of the mother, residence 5 years ago, highest grade completed, place of school, usual activity or occupation, kind of business, class of worker, place of work, language or dialect, generally spoken at home, residence and other housing characteristics. So bali, marirelease po yan sa ating timetable by December 2022 po. And of course, we also have yung other reports on barangay characteristics, kasama like ano yung mga facilities available doon sa ating mga barangays, mayroon ba doon yung ating conditions or situation in the barangay. So kasama po yan, that will be released by February 2022, yung ating mga barangay characteristics. So these are some information po. Now we are looking forward for the official results of this part of the 2020 CPH results po. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarwell, for sending your question. Thank you, Ma'am Wilma. Ngayon, pakinggan naman natin ang katanungan galing sa PIA Southern Leyte from Sir Bong Pidalino. Take it away, Bong. Hello, Bong, are you there? Hello, Bong? Parang wala pa po si Bong. So, basahin na lang. Nandiyan na po yung ating taga-Eastern Samar. Okay po. Tawagin po natin yung ating manager from PIA Eastern Samar, si Ms. Ninfa Kirante, para sa kanyang katanungan. Pasok po, Ninfa. Ma'am Ninfa.
Hello, naka-unmute?
Yes.
Kababati na?
Okay ka na, okay na.
Teka, salamin. Okay, my question is, maaari ho bang malaman kung anong age range ang mas marami with this report on population and housing, at ano ho ang relevance nito sa population? That's my first question, ma'am. Thank you very much po.
First pa lang yan, ma'am.
Okay, for the first question. Pa lang po ang mayroon tayo as of now. Thank you.
Okay, for the next question. Ilan yun, Ninfa? Nakamute ka, Miss Ninfa.
Itatanong ko lang po, ma'am, if we have improved in terms of housing, I mean materials or cost, something like that. Ano po ang general observation sa housing materials na gamit ng ating mga kababayan, ma'am? Thank you po.
Thank you, ma'am. Again, for 2020 results ng ating housing characteristics, this will be released by December 22, 2022 po. So hindi pa po natin nakikita ngayon sa ngayon. Thank you.
Okay, next question, Ninfa. Mayroon pa? Nakamute ka, Ninfa.
I-hold ko na laanan ang ibang questions para sa iba naman. And then pag wala na silang question, saka na ako papasok. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
maraming salamat po, Ms. Ninfa. Thank you, Ma'am Wilma. Balikan po natin si Sir Sarwell. May nakalimutan siyang question. Ito po yung kanyang additional question. May data ba on how many of the region's population have no bank accounts or access to bank services?
Sa tanong dun sa census on bank accounts,
Yes po.
wala po kaming tanong as to whether the household member has a bank account. Pero dun sa aming Philippine Identification System, mayroon po kaming tanong doon sa one of the demographic information na kinuha namin is mayroon ba sa kanila or sa mga members na nagpa-interview for demographic information, tinatanong sila kung mayroon ba silang any bank account. Tanong lang yon, yes or no lang yon. Hindi namin tinanong yung whether ano yung account number. So parang tanong lang, mayroon ka bang any bank account? So that is in the Philippine Identification System but not in PhilSys po. Not in CPH po.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Wilma. Ngayon ay balikan din po natin si Sir Jimmy. Mayroon po siyang dagdag na katanungan. Ito po yung isa, parang dalawa yata ito. Number one is, what is the implication of the steadily growing population in the region? Another one is, on fertility level, reason ba ito han slow population growth rate?
Okay. Okay, baka pwedeng masagot ni Director Uy, Sir Bonnie, yung implication ng 2020 census of population and also what will be the implication pagdating sa fertility pagdating dito sa. So I think si Ma'am Nora Polma from PAPCOM also is around. Okay, sige Sir Bonnie, go.
Yeah, okay. Good morning once again. Well, the implications of the results of the population counts has really to be studied well. We need to go back to our working table on what are the reasons behind this. But even this early, I would like to say that earlier I welcomed the lower population growth rate in our region because based on the result, we were able to achieve our goal, our development target of reducing the population growth 2 years ahead of target. And I would account, and I hope this will be validated later on, that the lower population growth rate is significantly due to the successful implementation, effective implementation of the responsible parenthood and reproductive health law and programs of the government. That law was passed in 2012. And I think based on the results of the 2020 census, the law and the programs on responsible parenthood and reproductive health have been successful. And one of the target also, one of the aim of that law and program, which will later on hopefully be validated, confirmed by RD Folma or PAPCOM, is to reduce the overall fertility and the number of children that each couple will have. No, so yan ang ano doon, magandang implications that hopefully will be validated. Of course, maraming mga important and favorable, to my mind, positive implications itong reduced, population growth rate. Una-una, mas maliit na ngayon yung resources needed by the national government, including the local government, to meet the social services needed by children. No? We need to invest to ensure that our children are healthy and later on be productive. We need to provide them the necessary social services, nutrition, education, and so on. So kung mas maliit yung kaunti na lang ngayon kaysa noon, edi mas maliit lang yung resources needed to provide that, and we can expect a better status in terms of nutrition and the fight against malnutrition and stunting and wastage among our children and babies. So maraming mga favorable implication yan. And kung ma-reduce yung social expenditure or for expenditure of the national and local government sa social services, more resources can be devoted by the LGUs doon sa mga infra projects nila, economic projects that will, of course, improve productivity of the economy at the region and local level. Thank you, Ms. Gemma.
Director ng Commission on Population, si Ma'am Nora Pulma. Ma'am Nora?
Yeah, okay. Can I be heard? Narinig na ako?
Yes po, go ahead po.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gemma. And I would like to say that masyado yata na-explain na ni Director Boni, no? The implication of the population growth rate. But then, pag sinabi kasi na population growth rate, tatlo kasi ang tinitingnan dyan eh. We're talking here of fertility, births, specifically births, tapos yung death, and of course, migration. So, yan ang tinitingnan niya. When you talk about population growth rate, hindi lang fertility. Tatlo ang variables tinitingnan doon. But then as far as birth is concerned or fertility, nakikita naman for the past 3 years na parang bumababa na naman siya talaga as far as region 8 is concerned. Parang to a certain extent of actually malapit na natin na hit ang ating fertility level na masasabi natin that we're actually stable, na pwede natin economically magiging gainful na rin ang ating region. But the thing also, which is very critical, I think, is looking into the population growth rate, is yung ating migration, status of our migration. Kasi ito isa to sa kasama in computing the population growth rate. Kasi we'll try parang since the very start, parang ang hirap kasi, malaki kasi ang factor on out-migration as far as Eastern Visayas is concerned. So meron siyang implication doon sa ating population growth rate. I just hope that yung ating, wala pa naman tayo talagang official result as far as migration is concerned. So meron ng mga attempts na ginagawa, even regional office, PAPCOM, is actually doing some mga efforts along that area para makita talaga natin as far as the migration trends dito sa Region 8. So, pag tinignan naman natin yung natural increase, which is birth minus death, medyo makikita natin. Increasing pa rin siya, pero yung ang number of people na natin in Eastern Visayas, pero hindi na siya ganun kalaki as far as the rate is concerned. But I think we also have to focus on the migration aspect. in the whole computation, the population growth rate. Kasi kasama siya in the computation. At sabi nga ni Sir Bonnie, kanina, Dr. Bonnie, mas maganda na sana kung hindi tinitingnan natin, maganda naman ang status ng net migration, marami ang pumapasok or actually productive, that can help us economically for the region. Pero kung marami naman itong mga productive citizens na lumalabas, and then yun ang medyo challenge as far as economic concern here in the region. So I just want to that when you talk about population growth rate, talagang the migration aspect has to be factored in the whole picture of growth. Hindi lang siya fertility. So, but then as far as statistics shows, medyo ang fertility naman level ng Region 8 is actually decreasing to certain extent. So that's as far as I can say.
Okay, thank you, Director Nora. May sabihin po si Director Laceras ng DBM.
Yeah, I was listening to the responses of RD Boni and RD Pulma. I totally agree. The need for a thorough analysis of the causes of the relatively identified high rate of outmigration, no? Kasi this would require another set of intervention. And mas maganda kung ma-determine natin siya on a per LGU or a per province naman lang, per province basis. So anong probinsya yung mataas ang outmigration at ano yung mga causes? Kasi as I've said, this will really entail another set of interventions. Kasi tama yung sabi ninyo, itong mga agency experts or tasked to do this data gathering na kasama siya. Admittedly, component siya sa pag-compute ng population growth rate. But I think yung sa focus ng POPCOM is more on the natural method, natural way of determining the population growth rate. Yung sabi mo nga, Elnora, yung birth minus death. However, may another component na very important nga to really dissect deeper, no? And kasi it is important for a local chief executive, if you're a governor or a mayor, to know bakit yung mga tao ko umaalis. Bakit at saka sino ba itong mga umaalis? Another aspect yan ng analysis, no? Hindi lang yung ilan, sino ang next question. Kasi kung mga productive yung umaalis, yun, talaga mapupull down pati yung economic activity ng isang LGU. Okay, so I agree. And how DBM can support that further discussion on the table, we would be gladly be cooperating if you will be invited to those sessions. Thank you.
Salamat po, RD Aimee. Very well said po. May comment po dito si Miss Alet Reyes ng POPCOM. Based on the 2017 by the Department of Health, fertility rate went down. Fertility rate went down to 3.1 from 3.5 in previous NDHS. So based on the 2017 National Demographic Health Survey, fertility rate went down to 3.1 from 3.5. Target for total fertility rate is 2.1. So Eastern Visayas is getting close to home. So yun po yung comment po, yung addendum ni Miss Alet Reyes ng POPCOM.
Okay. Thank you so much, Alet. That's the statistics as far as fertility is
answered your question. So this time, pakinggan po natin yung tanong ng aming officer in charge ng Philippine Information Agency Region 8, si Ma'am Erna Gorne. Pasok po, Ma'am Erna.
Good morning, Jem. Good morning to Director Perante, Director Bonifacio Oy, and Director Emil de las Heras. I would like to address this question to Director Perante. Have our enumerators encountered some cases wherein there are LGUs and barangays who have standing controversy on boundary disputes? And how did PSA reconcile in considering the population count per municipality?
Okay, thank you Ma'am Irma for that question. Bali may mga ano yan, minor boundary disputes we've encountered. Kasi sa official count naman wala naman nakalagay talaga na hindi na resolve. So that means yung ating mismo officials na concerned in that particular barangay or area given din dun sa mga official documents in the municipalities and barangay, na-settle yon. Ibig sabihin. So ibig sabihin internally during the census of population, yung ating mga problem on the disputes were settled kasi dun sa total population count wala kami dong annotation from Region 8 na mayroon talagang unresolved na barangay disputes, not like in previous years na mayroon talaga kaming mga annotation na itong certain count ay hindi nakasama dun sa isang area because it's included in the total count for the province or municipality because of some disputes. So far, fortunately for 2020, these minor disputes were solved po.
Okay.
Erna, any
so,
follow-up? Follow-up question po.
So, hopefully, nagkaroon ng settlement doon sa boundaries ng Silago at the last municipality of Leyte.
Yung Abuyog po. Yes po.
Yeah, yes po.
Actually, it has been nakatulong din po kasi yung ating yung ating geotagging. So, prior to the preparation of the census of population and housing for the actual enumeration, we geotag po yung ating mga buildings where this is located as part of preparatory activities done by PSA. So kung saan po siya na geotag, anong barangay po, so talaga kung na-settle yan during the geotagging pa lang. Kaya we had this reference of our maps kasi may mga naka-geotag na yung ating mga buildings. So may mga references na din na gamit yung ating mga enumerators during the 2020 Census of Population and Housing. Actually, it's one of the innovations made by PSA. We really had this very huge amount of funds na ginamit talaga for the geotagging ko kasi talaga nang malaki talaga yung naitulong natin sa geotagging of buildings natin so far. So wala kami ng dispute na nangyari dyan between Silago and Abuyog. Ang alam ko kasi niyan, dati pa yan Silago, Abuyog yung ating problema dyan sa boundary dispute. So far, it has already been resolved, Ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Wilma. Thank you, Ma'am Erna. May tanong po tayo dito galing from Jevic Epis of the Radyo Pilipinas Sogod. So nandito yung tanong niya regarding sa barangay sa St. Bernard, Southern Leyte na naapektuhan na na-relocate after the Ginsaugong tragedy. Sa last survey po, 0 ang data sa nasabing barangay. Ano na ang update now? Yung na-relocate ba na barangay inilagay within the existing barangay? Ma'am Wilma.
Salamat dun sa tanong for clarification on the status of the population count affected doon sa Barangay Ginsaugong St. Bernard. So bali kasi ang ating concept pagdating sa population count kung saan talaga officially na-locate yung ating mga housing units in that barangay, doon talaga siya ika-count. So ibig sabihin, kung wala na yung mga bahay dyan, hindi lalabas siya na wala siyang count. No? Kasi walang nakatira at although may bahay pero walang nakatira, wala talaga mangyayari, wala talagang makikita at maka-count na population. So ngayon, ibig sabihin lang, for 2020, kasi we already have 47 na na-count, ibig sabihin may bumalik po doon ng mga tao para tumira doon sa mga mga housing units nila. No? So although sabi nga mayroong pinagbabawalan yung mga tao doon tumira but we were able to cover about 47 individuals in 2020 na talagang we found out na doon na talaga sila tumitira doon sa barangay na yan. So ibig sabihin nun, yung mga na-relocate natin na mga households na nandoon na sa isang barangay, hindi yun makakasama sa original na barangay. Kasi they are located, the housing units are located in another barangay. So unless magkaroon ng revision in the law na yung isang barangay ay merge with another barangay or a new creation of a barangay in a certain coordinates, kumbaga. Kasi may mga coordinates man yan pagdating sa official na boundary ng mga barangay. So unless meron yon, we will just follow.
Thank you, Ma'am Wilma. May idadagdag po yata si Director Uy ng NEDA. Sir? Director,
Yes,
pasok po.
Ms. Gemma, thank you.
Okay po.
Earlier, I think RD Laceras made mention of their efforts to advocate the implications of the full devolution brought about by the decision of the Supreme Court on the Mandanas Garcia case. And given the favorable results of the 2020 census on population, I think there is a need to sustain, support more the local population officers and health officers, because the local population and health officers are the one that are really implementing the responsible parenthood and reproductive health programs on the ground level. So we hope that we will encourage our local chief executives to continue and even increase their support in terms of funding and even positions for our population and health programs. Sana yon ang magandang mangyayari as a result of these favorable results of the population count. Kasi aside from the examples that I have cited earlier, I mentioned that we have a long-term vision. Vision natin 2040, so that by year 2040 we will be an upper middle class country comparable to some leading economies in Eastern and Southeast Asia. And the number one indicator on whether or not we have achieved our ambition natin 2040 goal is the per capita income of our country. And the per capita income, the denominator of that is population. So if we have a lower population growth, the more chances that we will be able to attain a higher per capita income that will now be comparable to certain middle income countries in Asia. Thank you, Ms. Gemma.
Very well said po, Director. Thank you so much. That was a very good reminder po. So this time, balikan po natin yung ating Southern Leyte. Sir Bong, kung nandito ka na, pasok po. Sir Bong, andyan ka na ba? Parang hindi pa yata makapasok si Sir Bong. So punta naman tayo sa Northern Samar. Miss Eileen. Miss Eileen, are you still there? Parang wala rin yung ating Northern Samar. Pasensya na po, medyo mahina yata yung net doon. So this time, balikan natin yung ating manager sa PIA Eastern Samar, si Ma'am Ninfa. Parang may mga pending questions pa yata siya. Miss Ninfa? Ma'am Ninfa?
I'm Carla from PIA Eastern Samar.
Okay, go ahead.
My question po is, how is the population count on teenage pregnancy if there is data about this? Again, what is the relevance of this data?
Teenage pregnancy, balik tayo yata kay Ma'am Nora. Ma'am Nora, nandiyan ka pa ba? Director
Yes.
Vilma?
Yes, I'm here, but I think the question is about our population
Age
census.
pregnancy.
Ngayon. So I think ang question yata is if it is being covered by the teenage pregnancy is being covered by the count, right? So I don't know kung nasama, but I made to understand by Director Wilma kanina that the what is being presented today is just a total count, population count for 2020. The other vital statistics have not been presented yet. But then as far as sa amin naman, we have some, our data for adolescent birth rate is actually taken from the PSA kasi sila naman talagang authorized na magbigay ng data as far as adolescent birth rate is concerned. So pag makikita mo yung adolescent birth rate, is something to do with teenage pregnancy. So I made to understand that this particular census, hindi pa nasama yung vital statistics as far as adolescent, teenage pregnancy or adolescent pregnancy. Am I right, Miss RD Wilma? Hindi pa siya kasama, right? I think ang mga vital statistics relative to teenage pregnancy or adolescent birth rate will be presented sometime into 2022 because it's part of the census, vital statistics will be presented by PSA sometime in 2022. But yan ang hindi pa. That's what I made to understand your question is from PIA Eastern Samar. Yun yata ang question mo, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Kasama siya dun sa ating census ngayon. I think hindi pa siya kasama. I made to understand by Ms. Director Williman, hindi pa siya kasama because it's part of the vital statistics na pwede pang sasama on the 2022.
Sige, ma'am. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Okay, salamat Ma'am Nora. Ma'am Wilma, may
Yes,
dagdag ka.
thank you, Ma'am Nora. Actually, ang ating data on teenage pregnancy, ang may tanong lang dyan ay dun sa National Demographic and Health Survey for 2020, or even for Census and Population and Housing, wala tayong tanong if you are currently pregnant at what age, no? And pero, if you would visit our website, you can actually look at yung ating statistics sa Vital Statistics Report wherein makikita natin doon yung age group ng by age yung mothers, so you can have an idea of the current information of as to the teenage pregnancies based on the age of the mothers on the registered births. So sa Vital Statistics po natin, pwede rin natin makita yon.
Thank you, Ma'am Wilma.
Po.
Thank you sa PIA Eastern Samar.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sige, okay. So, mayroon pa ba tayong tanong? Other media partners, may tanong pa ba? Wala na yata. So, since wala na po tayong tanong, may we call in the Chief Statistical Specialist ng Philippine Statistics Authority, si Mr. Joseph Kahita, for his closing message.
Thank you, Ma'am Gina. Ma'am Gemma, thank you. And of course, maraming salamat sa PIA Region 8 for all of the advocacy support sa 2020 CPH. Courtesies po kay RD Bonnie Oy ng NEDA. Si RD Buni po ang chair ng ating Regional Census Coordinating Board. sa 2020 CPH for Region 8. Courtesies to RD Wilma Perante, our resident demographer. And of course, major data user po, major census data user po natin ang Department of Budget and Management. Courtesies to RD Imelda Laceras and also to RD Nora Polma of Platform Region 8. And good morning din sa lahat ng mga media partners natin sa Region 8 na present po for today's dissemination ng 2020 CPH results for Region 8. A lot of things have changed sa conduct ng census natin. For one thing, this is brought about by the pandemic. So yung operational adjustments po natin, we were supposed to conduct the census May 2020, but because of the restrictions, yung mga quarantine restrictions natin, and to mitigate the situation ng COVID-19, we adjusted the conduct of the enumeration in September. But this is not unique to the Philippines, no? We were one of the 6 countries in Southeast Asia na nag-conduct ng census during the pandemic. Pero one thing has not changed, okay? PSA's commitment to protect the privacy of those na nagre-respond sa ating 2020 CPH. Another thing that has not changed, ang commitment po ng Philippine Statistics Authority to provide statistics that help shape planning for our future. Ang PSA is committed to sharing what we know when we know it's going to help the nation understand yung quality ng ating 2020 CPH census results. So despite of the situation sa COVID-19, despite all the challenges of the pandemic, so na-mention naman din kanina sa mga tanong and then sa mga responses ng ating mga resource persons, yung completeness and accuracy ng results ng ating 2020 CPH are comparable with previous censuses. So meron po tayong mga quality checks built into the collection of the data when we had our enumeration last September, and we conducted comprehensive reviews, no, with the 2020 CPH returns. So sinabi natin kanina at nabanggit na rin ni RD Wilma, this is the first data release for the 2020 CPH population counts. In fact, yung population counts kasi ang pinaka-major product ng 2020 CPH or pinaka-major product ng census. And why is that? Because it has to be proclaimed officially by the President. So as mentioned, pursuant to Proclamation Number 1179, Series of 2021, which was signed by the President on July 6, 2021, ito na po yung official na population census data po natin. So nabanggit natin, this is just the first data release. So all other characteristics as mentioned by RD Wilma kanina will soon follow, and this will be released in a later date. Okay? So with this, we would like to thank all the census field workers in Region 8. So on behalf of NS Dennis Mapa, our Deputy National Statistician for Censuses and Technical Coordination Office, DNS Minatis Kivias, as well as our ANS for National Census Service, ANS Flora Barona, we would like to thank all of you, especially sa Region 8, lahat ng mga civil servants po natin, lahat ng mga enumerators that were deployed in the 2020 CPH despite the pandemic, lahat ng mga assistants po ng local government units, lahat ng mga assistants ng ating mga partners sa national government agencies na nasa Region 8, and most specifically, ang ating mga barangay officials who were there assisting us in the conduct of the enumeration. Kami po ay magpapasalamat sa inyo because we were able to overcome all of those hurdles. First time, global na pandemic, and we were conducting the census. One of the, other than national ID, of course, other than other programs of the government, ito yung isa sa mga flagship ng government programs or program activities for 2020. So as I was saying, we were able to hurdle all the challenges and we were able to conduct a complete and accurate 2020 CPH counts. So we would like to express our gratitude to all of you. We want to thank the public, specifically in Region 8, for the overwhelming participation in the 2020 CPH. So while the PSA, specifically in RSSO 8, under the leadership of RT Wilma, has worked tremendously hard over last year with the conduct of the 2020 CPH, a complete and accurate counts would not have been possible with all of those who took a few minutes and nag-welcome at nag-a-accommodate ng aming mga enumerators para makapag-respond sa 2020 CPH. To all of those that responded, thank you very much for participating in the 2020 CPH. And for all of those na nagpa-participate today sa ating dissemination sa 2020 CPH counts ng Region 8, thank you all for joining us. We are proud to bring you the first results of the 2020 CPH. Thank you for your participation in today's conference. Maraming salamat po.
Magkalimutan, may request all our participants to please accomplish the activity evaluation form found in our chat room. Thank you so much. So dito po nagtatapos ang ating regional news conference on the results of the 2020 census on population and housing. Sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng makabuluhang impormasyon, sa patuloy nating pag-explain, makakamtan natin ang ating mithiin na magkaroon ng empowered citizens at magkaroon ng maunlad na Eastern Visayas. Ito po ang iyong lingkod at kaibigan na si Gemma Tabao ng Philippine Information Agency, nagsasabing maraming salamat at muli mabuhay ang Philippine Statistics Authority, mabuhay ang Eastern Visayas. May request our participants to please open your video for our photo opportunity. Thank you so much. Beautiful eyes na lang ng mga nagpaka-mask. Okay, thank you so much once again and have a safe day. God bless po.
Thank you, Ma'am Jen. Thank you, Ma'am PSA and our PMC.
Congrats, Region
Sorry
8.
naman mga. Thank you so much also. Tapos din. Grabe ang stress.